Hi everyone, my name is Dr. Kelly Hall. I'm a chemistry professor at Ohio Northern University, and I'm here today to read you a book called Rosie Revere, Engineer. This book is written by Andrea Beatty and it's illustrated by David Roberts. Okay, so here we go. This is the story of Rosie Revere, who dreamed of becoming a great engineer. In Lila Greer's classroom at Blue River Creek, young Rosie sat shyly, not daring to speak. But when no one saw her, she peeked in the trash for treasures to add to her engineer's stash. And late at night, Rosie rolled up her sleeves and built in her hideaway under the eaves. Alone in her attic, the moon high above, dear Rosie made gadgets and gizmos she loved. And when she grew sleepy, she hid her machines far under the bed where they'd never be seen. When Rosie was young, she had not been so shy. She worked with her hair swooping over one eye and made fine inventions for aunts and uncles, a hot dog dispenser, and helium pants. So you can kind of see him in his helium pants over here. The uncle she loved most was zookeeper Fred. She made him a hat to keep snakes off his head, from parts of a fan and some cheddar cheese spray, which everyone knows keeps the pythons away. And when it was finished, young Rosie was proud, but Fred slapped his knees and he chuckled out loud. He laughed till he wheezed and his eyes filled with tears, all to the horror of Rosie Revere. She stood there embarrassed, perplexed, dismayed. She looked at the cheese hat and then looked away. I love it, Fred hooted. Oh, truly I do. But Rosie Revere knew that could not be true. She stuck the cheese hat on the back of her shelf, and after that day, she kept her dreams to herself. And that's how it went until one autumn day, her oldest relation showed up for a stay. Her great-great-aunt Rose was a true dynamo who'd worked building airplanes a long time ago. She told Rosie tales of things she had done and goals she had checked off her list one by one. She gave a sad smile as she looked to the sky. The only thrill left on my list was to fly. But time never lingers as long as it seems. I'll chalk that one up to some old lady's dreams. That night, as Rosie laid wide awake, wide-eyed in bed, a daring idea crept into her head. Could she build a gizmo to help her aunt fly? She looked at the cheese hat and said, no, not I. But questions are tricky and some hold on tight. But this one kept Rosie awake through the night. So when dawn approached and red streaks lit the sky, young Rosie knew just how to make her aunt fly. She worked and she worked till the day was half gone, then hauled her cheese copter out onto the lawn to give her invention a test just to see the ridiculous flop it might turn out to be. Strapped into the cockpit, she flipped on the switch. The Hello Cheese copter sputtered and twitched. It floated a moment, whirled round and round, then froze for a heartbeat and crashed to the ground. Then Rosie heard laughter and turned around to see the old woman laughing and slapping her knee. She laughed till she wheezed and her eyes filled with tears, all to the horror of Rosie Revere, who thought, oh no, never, not ever again will I try to build something to sputter or spin, or build with a lever, a switch, or a gear, and never will I be a great engineer. She turned around to leave, but then great-great-aunt Rose grabbed hold of young Rosie and pulled her in close, and hugged her and kissed her and started to cry. You did it! Hooray! It's the perfect first try. This great flop is over. It's time for the next. Young Rosie was baffled, embarrassed, perplexed. I failed, said dear Rosie. It's just made of trash. Didn't you see it? The cheese copter crashed. Yes, said her great aunt, it crashed. This is true. But first it did just what it needed to do. Before it crashed, Rosie. Before that, it flew. Your brilliant first flop was a raging success. Come on, let's get busy and on to the next. She handed a notebook to Rosie Revere, who smiled at her aunt as it all became clear. Life might have its failures, but this was not it. The only true failure can come if you quit. They worked till the sun sneaked away to its bed. Aunt Rose tied her headscarf around Rosie's head and sent her to sleep with a smile ear to ear, to dream to the bold dreams of a great engineer. At Blue River Creek, all the kids in grade 2 build gizmos and gadgets and doohickeys too. With each perfect failure, they all stand and cheer, but none quite as proudly as Rosie Revere. I chose this book because I really like the idea or how it really teaches persistence and trying to find success in what we initially might see as failures. And then I also really like it because it hits kind of that STEM related material. So when I was a child, much like Rosie Revere, I was very interested in science and how things worked, and why things did the things the way that they did. I really liked building things with Legos and Connects and those kinds of things, which really kind of started to spark my interest in STEM related fields. As I got older, I found out I really, really liked science, and specifically, I really liked chemistry. And so, I went and got my bachelor's degree in chemistry. And then when I completed that, I went ahead and went to graduate school and pursued a PhD in chemistry. And inevitably, that led me to where I am today, which is teaching chemistry at a 4-year college. And that is one of the things that I love the most about what I do is I get to share something I'm excited about with other people and potentially get other people excited about it as well. So, if you find this interesting or you like building things or, you like to know how things work, STEM's a great place for you. And, maybe if you follow through with that or continue to pursue it, I'll see you someday here and I get to teach you some of my fun stuff.